Hey, there you are. Old Stead Walker out in the shop. I hope your day is going well. Well, I got the second garden gnome all carved up. Well, I tell you what, that is really a nice piece of wood. It's got some really interesting, they call it spalting, I think. Anyway, it's when it starts to partly decompose, I think, is what's happening. And this one, too, has got really excellent. The grain on it. Anyway, they're really nice pieces of wood. Let's see if I can show you up close here. Whoops. I don't think that grain probably shows up very well, but it's actually pretty nice. Alright. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I really like Walter's channel. That's what I'm working on here. It's the P. Walper Express. He calls his channel P. Walpar. Anyway, it's nothing too exciting, but he's really prolific, and he's always got something going on. It's just kind of a fun channel. I really enjoy it. So anyway, I just want to give Walter a shout out, and he's built himself up quite an empire. I think he's got about 13,000 subscribers. So that's big time YouTube for me, at least I would think. So, and the other thing that I wanted to talk about was my motivation for talking about my house. I got to thinking, people might think I'm trying to brag about my house, and that's not my motivation for telling you about my house. For me, that whole experience was really rewarding. You know, not just in terms of having a house that's been fixed up, but in terms of the things that I learned about myself and what I was capable of doing that I didn't know about. And so I think about other people out there that might hear my story or something and might be inspired to do the same kind of thing, and they might find out the same kind of things about themselves. And anyway, that's my motivation for even telling you about my house. So coming up, I got some footage from when I was carving that first gnome, and I'm talking about building my cabinets and installing my countertops. I think there might be something else in there too, so hang on to your hats. But you know, you just take it one step at a time. I enjoyed it. Boy, I really enjoyed tracking down all the supplies. That was fun. You know, tile and whatever you need. That's fun. And I got all my stuff from thrift stores and garage sales. And I got my gas cooktop and double oven, double convection. Well, it's a double oven, and one of the ovens is convection. And it was a 6-burner Thermador gas cooktop. That Thermador, they make nice stuff. That's high-end stuff. Some rich guy in Bellevue by Seattle there was remodeling his kitchen, and he didn't need the old stuff anymore. He was getting new stuff. I'd been looking for double ovens, and I just get on Craigslist and type in double oven and see what pop up. I had an idea of what they were going for. So anyway, I was visiting my friend Craig in Tacoma. Get on the Google or the Craigslist and type in double oven. This guy has got one advertised, but no price on it. So I call him up and say, "Well, how much you want for it?" "Oh, it's free." I'm like, all right, oh. Yeah, he says, "I got some other stuff too." So we hopped in the truck and headed over there real quick, and he had that double oven and some sinks and garbage disposals. And, yeah. Anyway, it was quite a bit of stuff he gave me. It was like four or five sinks, I think, that he gave me. Anyway, all free. Just want to get rid of it. Oh, the pop-up vent. That's the fancy thing. That vent that pops up. Anyway, it's pretty fancy. That was a score. That's one for the ages. I can't tell you how much I enjoy that double oven. Gas cooking with gas, it's all right. Sometimes I think I would rather have electric, but it's a nice looking cooktop, so there's that. And it's 6 burners, that's nice, and it was free. So what can you say? Oh, dang. Look, I had that glove on. I would have cut myself pretty good. Yeah, that house, it took me, I had to work on it a year and a half before I could move in. And when I moved in, I had a kitchen, but not for long. That was another thing too. You gotta be brave. I remember not wanting to tear out the old kitchen cabinets. They were crap. They looked like hell. But it's hard, you know. You're like, I've never done this before. So anyway, I finally summoned up the courage to tear apart my kitchen. I made all my own cabinets, kitchen cabinets, which I'd never done before. But I found a good book on it at the Salvation Army or St. Vincent de Paul. It was a really nice book on how to build cabinets out of plywood. Well, at least one chapter of it. And basically, you're just building boxes. Cabinets are just boxes with fancy doors on them. So I just built all my cabinets out of plywood and put edge banding on there to make it look like real wood. And I was lucky enough to be able to use the school shop to do all that work. The one thing about the school shop was they had so much room. I mean, it's not a very big shop by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a lot bigger than what I had. So actually that worked out really well. And I just started building boxes until I had all the boxes I needed. I went down to the local lumber store and got shop grade plywood. It was about $42 a sheet. And I remember how many sheets I had used. Quite a few. That's how I learned how to make hand-cut dovetails for my drawers. Because I want to do something special for those drawers. And I got a tape again from the VHS tape from the Salvation Army. Or St. Vincent de Paul, one of those two places. And it was like shop secrets, master craftsmen. And they had old Frank Klaus. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name. Anyway, he's famous. And he was on there showing you how to cut dovetail joints by hand with a chisel and a dovetail saw. And so I just followed his instructions. He made it look so easy. Holy smokes. There's a lot to learn to making dovetails, I'll tell you. There's a lot to keep your eye on. Easy. What did he say? He said, "Oh, easy, perfect every time." I remember him saying, I was just like, yeah, right. For you, I was having to learn how to fix all my mistakes. That's what they say a journeyman is. He knows what to do when things go wrong. I paid quite a bit of money for the tile in the bathroom, about $400, $450 or something. It was all porcelain tile. And all my black and white tile, I got all that for 50 cents a square foot. And it's all porcelain. That's the nice tile. So I tried to be as when I was fixing up the house. You know, it's so easy to just start throwing tons of money at a house. You know, get all the cabinets and, you know. Anyway, I try to avoid that as much as possible. It's pretty hard to avoid it completely. But I was always looking for bargains and free stuff. Good deals. Oh, I got the whole house rewired. Again. Everything seems to work, but it's probably not quite up to code. That's the other thing. I never got any building permits. Well, that's not quite true. When I put in my gas line, I made sure I had the inspector come and look at it, because I wasn't going to fool around with having any problems with the gas in the house. So anyway, but everything else was all under the radar, I guess you could say. Oh, if the county would have got a look at this house, they probably would have condemned it. Sure. It was pretty bad. So I got it all rewired, or most of it, and then my buddy Craig came and he brought a drywall panel lifter and spent a week of his vacation helping me re-sheetrocked most of the house. It wasn't all of it, but we did all the kitchen and the living room. And I guess it was one of the bedrooms. In one of the bedrooms, I think. Anyway, it was a major step because to get all the sheetrock back up, then things were kind of sealed up a bit. It was so trashy before. And noisy even. Without any insulation. The house was pretty noisy, although the house has about 4 layers of siding on it. There's like at least 3 distinct types of siding on there. And like 2 layers of that T111 siding. So anyway, the house is actually, considering it's right next to the tracks, it's fairly quiet with I got the insulated windows. Of course, I replaced all the windows. And it's actually not too noisy in there. And I put special sound deadening panels up on the north wall, south wall, which faces the tracks. I put up sound deadening, some kind of sound deadening stuff they sold at the Home Depot. And the bedroom I sleep in has that. I think I put it up in the ceiling, and I think I'm going to put it around all the walls in that bedroom. So anyway, it's the I think more than the sound is the vibration from the trains is what's more noticeable. Shut off again. I don't know why. Excuse me. Maybe because I farted. I don't know. So anyway, I was at the granite store looking at what kind of granite I was going to get, trying to figure it out. And I got to talking to this guy, and he was some kind of slumlord. He had multiple rental units, he told me. And he said he puts granite in there because it's so durable. And he says he's got this guy working for him. And the guy just, he took a skill saw and he kind of drilled a hole and threaded it and put in a adapter or whatever so he could hook up a hose, a water hose to it. And then he put in a diamond blade, and he made sure the water was always hitting the diamond blade. And when he wanted to cut a straight line, he just clamped off a piece of something straight and ran a skill saw along it. And I thought, oh, I bet I could do that. So then I was hooked. Then I was for sure I was going to have granite countertops. So I can't believe how nervous I was, how scared I was. I had no idea what I was doing. So one of my former students, he just graduated, and he had gotten this big giant truck. It was like a Ford, I don't know if it was a 250 or a 350. It was at least a 250. Anyway, it was a pretty stout truck. And you know, well, say it gets about 10 miles to gallon. So I built an A-frame for transporting the granite. I just built it out of 2x4s. And kind of just figured out how to build that. I saw something online or something. Anyway, it's not too complicated. But I built my own A-frame to hold the granite while we were transporting it. So it didn't break. And me and my former student, we drove down to Portland and picked up the granite. And it cost me $800 for the granite for the countertops. And then I think I spent about $150 for the material for the backsplashes, which I ended up not even using because I made my backsplash out of all my scraps from the countertop, because I could make it like 7 or 8 inches high instead of 4 inches. So anyway, we got the granite home, and got it unloaded without breaking any of it, and I started working on it one piece at a time. But you really gotta be careful because there's no one cutting it. And I watched some YouTube videos. The main thing about installing those granite countertops are the seams. I'll tell you what, when I went to that granite store and looked at the seams on their demonstration models or whatever, they had some pretty crappy seams. Mine are a lot better than that. Anyway, they just didn't take the time or anything. So the hard part is getting those seams to look really nice. And what you do, I think my granite is like 3/4 of an inch or something. It's not that thick. It's pretty thin as far as granite goes. So to get a nice edge, what you got to do is you undercut like 1/2 inch of that of the granite where the two seams are going to meet. So basically, where the seams are going to meet, the granite is only 1/4 of an inch thick. You know, it's not for very. It's only right there at the seam. It's that thin. But I just took a grinder, and I think I had a diamond wheel on it or something, and used that to undercut the granite at the seam, so it was only 1/4 inch thick. And then you use a diamond file to get it perfectly flat and at perfect angle to the other piece. Anyway, what I did was I took my level. You know, I had aluminum level, 4-foot aluminum level, and I'd rub the metal part against the edge of the granite, and wherever there was a high spot, it would show up as black, and I'd know that I needed to go over that area with my diamond file. I had these diamond files I got from Harbor Freight. Actually, I think they were just made for sharpening things, you know, like diamond sharpening stones. Anyway, I think it took me about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I think, to get the countertops installed. But I just took my time and did one piece at a time. Sometimes I'd have to have kids come over and help me move the granite around. But, oh, and then after I got all the edges ready to go and everything ready to go, then you got to glue everything together. Oh man, was I shitting bricks. Scott, pardon my language, but I was scared. Oh, I was so scared. I don't know why. I guess I was worked up, but boy, I was scared. So I had a kid helping me, and I don't know, he didn't have much to do, but helped me move the granite around, I guess is what his main job was. But I had some special glue I got from the granite store to glue those edges together, and we got all the edges together. I just made one mistake, and that was I cut out the sink too soon. The piece of granite where my sink went, I cut out most of it, but I left it in there part ways. I just had these little tabs I had to cut off to cut out the blank, get the blank out of there. And anyway, I cut that out too soon, and then I went and tried to move the granite, and right in front of the sink, the granite cracked because it was only about 3 or 4 inches wide there or something. It wasn't very wide. But that was the only real mistake I made on installing the granite. So I was I was pretty happy with that. I could live with that. And boy, I tell you what, I love those granite countertops. They look as good as the day I put them in there. They're extremely durable. I got granite polish that I use all the time, so a bit of maintenance to them. But I tell you what, making pies or something, it's a real nice surface to be rolling out stuff on. Yeah, I love that kitchen. It's got 50 square feet of counter space, I think. I believe it, yeah, it's like 25 feet long total, and then it's 2 foot wide, so that would give you 50 square feet of counter space. I think it's more than that, because that island is more than 2 feet wide. I think it's 3 feet wide. What a good bird.